Hello, I'm Rebecca Skeele, and welcome to key number, which key is this? 3 in my series, 7 Keys to Make Your Life a Heaven. And this is based in my book, You Can Make It Heaven, How to Enrich Your Life with Abundance and Loving. And I'm doing this 7 Key series to really tease out some major keys to really beginning to make your life a heaven. If that is something that you would like to explore and discover and find out what that really means for you. So the key I'm going to talk about today, I have to put on my glasses just for a moment and then I'll take them off. Well, it's not too bad a glare today, is wake up from the knock on the door. You know, life is full of knocks, isn't it? Some of them are pretty gentle and don't require a lot of introspection. For instance, maybe you go to the doctor and she says, you know, your cholesterol is a little high. I'd like you to change your diet. You go, yeah, okay, got it. I'll do that. Or it'd be good if you lost some weight and went on an exercise program. Yeah, that'd be good too. And you do that. Or maybe a boss calls you into her office and she says, you know, you're doing a great job in this area, but over here, I'd really like more attention. I'd like you to up your game over here. And you go, yeah, I get it. Sure, I'll be glad to do that. Or maybe you have a conversation with a good friend and they share with you maybe some behavior lately that has hurt their feelings or they've noticed in you, and you just go, whoa. Thank you. I had no idea that you were affected in that way. Thank you. I will take a look at that. Those are what I call gentle knocks. They do wake us up. They wake us out of some kind of unconscious pattern or an area in which we're not really aware of. They bring greater awareness to us. But the knocks on the door that I'm really talking about are the ones that require us to do a real life evaluation. Those are what I call the 2x4s of life. Those are the ones that come out of the blue, the ones that pretty much shatter our life. Our life is in pieces on the ground. We can feel like, wait a minute, why did this happen? I didn't want this. Pretty much like a victim to it. And they're unbidden. And we didn't really like them. We didn't really want them. And we want to really fix it and put it back the way it was. These are what I call the 2x4s of life. And they require us, if we so choose, to really be self-reflective about our life in a big way. Yes, there's a lot of pain that usually comes from the major 2x4s of life. There can be shock, pain, grief, disappointment. All of that is part of it. And it's not something that we necessarily relish walking through. I know by the time I was 35 years old, I had had a series of these 2x4s, and my life was in pieces all over the floor, all over the ground. Everything that I had thought that my life was supposed to be about, everything that I thought I was supposed to be about and was about, and trying very hard to do it, live my life that way. And these 2x4s shattered all of that in such a big way that I said, wow, the illusion was shattered. And I woke up, and I woke up very soberly and just said, okay, I have no idea what's next. When I talk about introspection, what I mean is often these 2x4s are waking us up out of a way that we are living our life that is not truly who we are. This can show up in lots of different ways. And in my book, I have a lot of stories about people who in my counseling practice, when I wrote this book, would come into my office, usually from a life 2x4, with their life shattered, and ask why. Why did this happen? I need to understand this. And the understanding really didn't get it. It was more like, let's look deeper. Let's take a look at what is it that you are being asked to wake up out of. And if you did that, and as you are doing that, what is the greater learning lesson life that is coming forward for you? You know, a lot of people had a lot to do with their heart. It had a lot to do with loving. It had a lot to do with what they thought love was, how they experienced loving, and especially if the one they loved suddenly went away, either through a divorce or a loss, a death, something like this, and they felt devoid of love. Well, this was a great opportunity to say, well, wait a minute. The biggest love in your life is the love of self, not in a selfish way, but in knowing that that is where love exists. And it doesn't walk out the door when your loved one walks out the door. And it doesn't disappear when your loved one dies. So that's often one of the biggest, let's say, wake ups in our life. Another really big one that I saw again and again, and this one was one of mine. Actually, loving was one of mine as well in my 30s, but also control. It is said that control is the biggest addiction on the planet. So when we feel like we have everything together, we feel like we have our life under control, and we have, you know, everything is rocking along the way we want it, which is certainly the way I felt when the 2x4s of my life came along. And of course, when the 2x4s come along, you feel out of control, don't you? It's like you don't have any control anymore. And you never really did, but that was part of the illusion. And so when we let go of control, well, what's left? Where do we go then? And this is part of the deeper journey that is often taken. And if we make the choice to take it, to find out what is beyond control in my life. And it often has to do with trust. Okay, so you know, I could talk a lot more about all this, but I want to keep this video kind of short here. But let me just list to you the 2x4s I have in my book. Divorce, I had that one. Financial collapse, I had that one. Debilitating illness, depression, loss of a loved one, and this could be very sudden. Addictions, insomnia, and lack of purpose. Now, this is not a complete list by any means, but it is the 2x4s that I have seen over and over that are the invitation to take us on a deeper journey in our life and find, what is your life really about? Can you create a life of heaven? And I'll just end this key with reading the last paragraph of this chapter. It says, life's 2x4s are great awakeners. They're capable of catalyzing unparalleled insights. On initial impact, they can easily hurl you back into sleep, for you may be too fraught with pain or fear or resentment, anger, or upset to find any value in them. And that is a choice. It takes considerable courage and often years to go beyond the hurt of a trauma, but timing doesn't matter. What counts is waking up to answer recurring knock, for then you begin to transform your life. So again, these are keys from You Can Make It Heaven. You can find out how to purchase this book if you're interested, either in paperback or ebook, by clicking the link on my YouTube page. And you can also find out more about me, Rebecca Skeele, at RebeccaESkeele.com. So until next key, let's see. The next key is one that I love to talk about, getting to know your true self. Make your life a heaven. Bye for now.